Hey guys, welcome to Rocket Team's here with another video. We're rushing for the RSF1 Grand Prix on board with Crazy Fish coming into the pit lane. He's got a car coming up behind it, there's contact between the two. Oh no, it's not going to be a penalty for the two drivers. It wasn't luckily for Crazy Fish, but the car behind does seem to care about that. As Blaze is going to retire from the session, we need to get out together here in P4, which is probably good enough to get ourselves through to Q2. But we want to make sure going to the prospect corner, clip the apex on there. Got one corner to go, they've got to clip the apex on the inside, clip it perfectly, coming to the line. It's pole position for now for Q1. Spooky goes along and beats us by literally a 10th. So, you could say qualifies to be close, but sadly Shane's out of Q1 and Camo. Both those drivers very much didn't deserve to go out of Q1, but it happens to the best. Meanwhile, Toxic coming around the last corner, gets on the curb, loses the rear, he's going to go for a spin, yes he is. Toxic goes for a spin then on Q2, so that's another way he wanted to start his qualifying session. Now, into this right hand, I've got to clip the apex, exactly how we've done. Use the AstroTurf on the left hand side to our advantage, just a couple of corners to go with this lap remaining. Clipping the inside curb, go on the AstroTurf, lost the rim and the wall. I've lost my right front tyre. I am out of Q2. Wow, that's a shock. Now looking at LR Blazer Guns going into the right hander. Please don't do what I did. He's clipped the AstroTurf instead of exactly what I did. Blazer Guns into the wall, he's out as well. So we've lost two drivers in this session, myself and Blazer, who both didn't even set a lap time. And we're both out because of crashes. Gazzy's out, Crazy Fish is out, Millsy, Blazer and myself then all out to qualifying too. So who got pole position for Q3? It was Swift. Swift gets pole position from Spooky, Eyes, Quakers, Toxic, Eagle, and One Shot rounding out the top 7. Here we go then. 5 red lights for the Russian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go. Can we get a good start? Overtaking race breaks, we're on the swap out time. We get a much better start than all the cars around us. We've dropped 3 spots. Heading up to this right kick of turn 1. Gazzy's made contact on the left hand side. Gazzy's on the grass. That's another position made up. 4 positions made up. Coming onto the run to turn 1. They're about 6 wide in front. Sure, this isn't going to work out. There's contact. We got crashing. We've gained so many positions in all of this. Where we come out then? P6. We got a legal overtake. Gonna have to get back a position then. And there's a safety car. What has happened to the start of this Grand Prix then? To have a safety car out already. We're in P7. We started P15. We've made such a good start. Firstly then, what happened to Gazzy on the run to turn 1? Heading into this right hander. There's a little bit of contact. Forced him into the wall. Gazzy got damaged. That's not the way Gazzy would have wanted to start. Now I've got Camo, the last person on the grid. Can Camo get himself a decent start? He's also on the soft. He gets a much still a better start than the cars on the right hand side. He's got Millsy on the left hand side, gets past Millsy, you've got to see Gazzy on the grass. Crazy Fish on the right hand side. There's a little bit of racing room there. Crazy backs out into position coming into turn 1 though. Someone must have missed their braking point. I don't know who's involved. There's a lot of damage, a lot of chaos. Cameron's made a great start from P17 to P9. He's going around the outside of Ice Fest. Doesn't quite make it through. And he has to give that position back to Ice, who will then eventually pick up P8. So, great start by me and Camo from the back of the grids. Right, let's see what happens to Crazy Fish on the line. Away he goes, he's on the mediums. So he's going to go for a different strategy to most of us. We probably didn't want the fact that there was a safety car race to start. You got me there making a great start, getting past Gazzy on the grass. But heading towards turn 1, he backs out. He thinks it's going to be a crash. And I tell you what, backing out was probably the best thing he could have done there. Because there you go, that's the absolute mass pile up out of turn 2. And I'm out of turn 3, and that's actually got Crazy Fish into P13, so not a bad start for Crazy Fish in this Grand Prix, with the safety car being out as well. As now, next up for him is Millsy and then Grunty. Toxic must have been involved in that collision, because Toxic was in the top 10 earlier in Q3. So, there's obviously been some big crashes here. On board with Grunty then, heading towards into turn 2. They're about 5 wide. Grunty's been involved, Quaker's involved, Toxic's off as well. That's a big spin for Quakers. Let's see if we've got a camera angle for Quakers then. And yes, we do. This is the next camera angle I want to show you then. On board with Quakers then. Starting P4 in this Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go. He's got to make sure he gets a half decent start. He gets a very decent start actually. He got a much better start than Eyes. This is side by side. Into the right kick. Keep it clean. Oh, they made contact in fact between Eyes. That could have been so much worse between the pair of them. That's what's initially actually brought everyone else into it. Toxic misses his break point. There's a car on the right side. He's also missed his break point. That was Eagle. And as you can see, the absolute mess this has turned out to be. On board with Ice then. He's in P3 at the moment. He's got everyone off the inside. Toxic misses his break point first. I think that's Toxic's fault a little bit. So it's Quakers involved with that one, I think. I don't know who else is out blamed for that one. Definitely the Merc. Definitely the Renault driver of Toxic. Most definitely probably Quakers as well. But Ice drops there from P3 to P9 in this Grand Prix, so that's not a good start for him. Now, on Bubble Spooky, your guy starts on the front row. You can see what a great start Swift gets from the front row of the grid. Gets the whole shot heading into turn 1. Now, next up is turn 2. You've got everyone just like jigging about. They're 4 wide, then they go 5 wide, and into turn 1. They actually hit Spooky. That's what happened to Spooky then. He goes straight across the chicane, gets away with it, but everyone else behind has been involved in such a big collision there, so that's not good at all. Now, for the replay camera mode, 10 red lights, and we're underway. You get to see what a perfect start all of us get, but especially me, who gets past everyone off the line there. So, we've already overtaken 3 cars by this point, maybe 4 cars, with Gasly on the grass. This is front wing. That's disappointing for Gasly, but luckily for the safety car, he can pit, maybe change the front wing, and he'll still be in it. But there you go, 5 wide between the Mercs, and that was just never going to work. There you go, there's the contact. And we've managed to get through there without any problems at all. Now, lap 3. Safety car restart. We're at P6 after a couple people pitted. Next up for us is Quirky Turtle. Let's see if we can get a jump in through the final couple of corners then to restart this race. Coming towards the line. Start lap 4. We've still got a long way to go. This Grand Prix of 23 laps. We're in P6 at this point. This could be where we finish, come to the end of the race, but we'll find out later on. There's a spin at the back. That was a pink car, probably Grunty or Camo. That's a shame for who that is. Right, on board with Crazy Fish after his stage car restart then. Toxic's on his left hand side. Toxic's using a lot of ERS to try and get past Crazy Fish heading towards turn 1. Crazy doesn't fight it. It's interesting stuff by Crazy Fish then into turn 1. Loses out position there to Toxic. Is he going to lose out to next up who's Shane? Because Shane's also on the source. Shane's looking at lose on in turn 3. Very brave stuff by Shane. He's got the outside, it's his right hander. Still side by side. Shane keeping his car there. Crazy Fish forces Shane off the track. Shane gets positioned by being off the track though. Now it's his right hander. Shane gets a legal overtake, I think, so he gives his position back to Crazy Fish. Crazy retakes P12 in his Grand Prix. This is a great battle going on then. I love the inside goes. Someone else on Shane. They were side by side there. Now, coming towards the end of lap 4. Oh, Quirky's on the AstroTurf. He's made a mistake. Up the inside. I go Quirky. It's his left hander. Give the space to Quirky. It's his right hander. Go into the outside of Quirky. Can we get this stuck? Yes, we can. Round the outside. We get the move done. We're down to P5. What an overtake that turning out to be. Next up for us is Eagle, who's involved in that collision earlier on. There's contact. There's a racing point involved. I believe that's Camo. And I believe that could be Stretch or Eagle. But these two coming together. Please don't crash here, lads. This is not a place you want to contact. There's more contact between the pair of them. Off goes the racing point. Off goes Smirk. Sadly, that means both those guys are going to have damage probably in maybe a bit more than that. But that's racing and it happened, sadly. Now then. Moving on then to lap 5 now. On board with Crazy Fish going to the final corner. He's got Millsy up in front. Can he get Millsy on the side?
The stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now
Crazy Fish to get this one done. He's got the DRS fudge, so he's got overtake. He's got brake mix available to him. He's got the slipstream as well. Millsy's got none of the turning towards the turn 1. Side by side on the brakes. Who's latest? Crazy Fish very late on the brakes. Gets the move done. Gets past Millsy. Is Millsy going to try and retaliate with the switchback? No, he doesn't. Who's that round outside the pair of them? That is Shane, I believe. Shane looking for the advantage now. On the inside, this is right hander, turn 4. Shane's got the move. There's contact. He forces off Crazy Fish. Gets position though. Shane then into P10. Very aggressive stuff by Shane, but fair enough. Hard racing. Oh, it was a mistake there. I think that was Millsy, you know. Millsy's made a big mistake there and he's dropped a lot of positions. Moving on to lap 6. Then next up is Eagle. Can we get past Eagle soon? We get on the curb too much. We get a warning. But that has set me up on Eagle. We may have got a warning, but now we've got the DRS, we've got the race mix, we've got overtake, we want to use it, but we're not going to use overtake. Or where are we? We're using overtake now, very late on because the corner's coming up. We're going to send up the inside. Not yet. Eagle, very late on the brakes, too late on the brakes, in fact. Gets a bad run out of this left-hander. Can we go up the inside of Eagle? Yes, we can. Side by side, this left-hander. There's a bit of contact between me and Eagle. Eagle holds position, or does he? Can we get a switch back on Eagle? Yes, we can. Side by side with Eagle once again. Now it's just a couple of corners to go this lap. Side by side still. We still haven't got this move done. Now it's the final corner. Who's going to give the position up? There's the DRS. I want to stay behind for the DRS. Yes, we've done that perfectly. We're going to have the DRS now. Side by side. I've got DRS activated. We have the inside line as well, giving us the extra advantage. We get past the Eagle then, which gives us a position of P4. Next up for us is One Shot then, and then Spooky. We got another track limits warning. We've got 2 on this lap. That's not good at all for our race, because if we get penalties, that could cost us a lot. As you'll see later on in this race, if that does actually become a factor or not. So there you go, just the replay camera, just a small little out for the replay camera, nothing too much. Now, on board with Crazy Fish, he's got Quakers behind, Quakers using DRS, gets past Crazy Fish on the brakes, heading towards turn 1. Quakers gets something done, and this is P11 now, it's Crazy Fish has dropped to another position now, it's P12, so he's going to look to try and get these positions back later on this race, as his mediums start coming back to him. Oh, looking at Ice the best now, he's got Eagle in front of after the... Eagle's had a terrible couple of laps, in fact. Quirky's now got past him as well. Up the inside is Ice the best on Eagle. There's contact. Ice the best in the wall. And sadly, that is Ice the best race done and finished. There's no way he's going to get any points with the damage he's just picked up there. So that's a shame for Ice the best. He might be able to get some points later on this race. We'll find out. But that's a shame for Ice. Side by side between Gasly and Stretch now on lap 8. Gasly trying to go rally outside of Stretch, who's on the hards. Stretch trying to go to the end of those hards. He pitted onto his car early on. Is it going to work out? Stretch is still side by side. It's his right hander. Gasly still got the outside line. Gasly gets the move done. What an irritate by Gasly that is to get that move done. Stretch makes a mistake. It's our left hander as well. So Gasly does make that move stick. And to be fair, from Gasly, that's a very nice overtake, which is why I included it. Now, someone's in the pits. It's that one shot. It's that Spooky. I think that's Spooky. Yes, it is. Spooky's in the pits, and he's gone for the undercut on everybody. Is that going to work out for him or not? We're going to use some overtake on this lap because we could be boxing this lap. I don't quite know when our pit window's open, but I'll find out in a minute or two. Moving on to lap 10 then. Next up is still one shot. He's got a 1.6 second lead. I'm trying to hunt that down, but I don't know if I can or not. Heading towards turn 1. Don't turn into only a good penalty. One shot hasn't got a penalty. Smith don't have a penalty, but I do. However, Blazer Guns has a penalty. He's on the medium, so he's doing medium softs, which means I do actually have to pull away from Blazer Gun. He's only 2.9 seconds behind. I think Blazer Gun could happy here because he's on the alternate strategy, meaning he's going to pick for softs later on in this race, but he's going to have a great advantage. Now, moving on. Oh, I've lost the rear. Don't hit the wall. Oh my god, that was so close to hitting the wall. I'm going to have to use some overtake button here now to try and catch the gap that I've just lost so much time for that mistake. Now, pitting onto mediums, which is exactly what I've done on the previous lap. Moving on to lap 16. Next up is Mildy. He's got a 1 second advantage. There's retirement. Grunty's out of this race. I don't know what happened to Grunty there. And it's called a virtual safety car. Honestly, I wish it was a safety car, but it's not. It's a virtual. DRS has been enabled once again. Then can we get within Millsy? See if we get his DRS or not. Heading against his right hander. Millsy is so slow on these mediums. I wonder if he's on the ultimate strategy as well, but it's not going to work out for Millsy. He's been on there for so long that it's going to cost him so much time. We're in the red space. We used to overtake earlier on to get the most advantage out of it. Side by side, heading towards his right hander who's latest on the brakes. Millsy's later on than me on the brakes, but has he made the corner? Yes, he has. It's his left hander still side by side. Millsy, can we get the traction out the corner? Yes, we can. Still side by side into the chicane. Got the outside line now around Millsy. Up the inside to his right hander. We get past Millsy then onto the curb. And we lost the rear again. Is Millsy going to look up the inside of us again? Is his right hander or is he going to pit? He's pitting, but I didn't notice that. I thought he was still on my inside. That's cost me to make a huge mistake. It's below a corner. That has cost me a little bit of time. So that's a shame. But it's cost me a lot of time that. But I need to get past Millsy. I don't know why he's fighting it so hard if he was going to come into the pits, but he can do what he wants. There you go. There's the rear. That's a huge loss, actually. I was thinking that was only small, but from the replay camera, that's a huge loss of the rear. How I've kept it in the right direction, I don't know. Right. Oh, this is where we're pitting, so this one's in the wrong order a little bit. I apologise about that. But coming into pits then, behind one shot, you see how much I closed the one shot here, and then how much I've lost. That's why I included it here, in fact, because now you can see how much time I lost to one shot. As everyone else is in the pits this time round. But because that's when I pitted, I was within a second of one shot. But look at the gap now. 4 seconds. I've lost 3 seconds somehow. But I don't really understand where, which is why I included it there. So, interesting. I don't know what to say about that. Meanwhile, lap 18 then, as Toxic says fast up the race. It's his left-hander. Is that a penalty? Yes, it is. No! How is that a penalty? That was barely a cut. And it gave me a warning afterwards. Why did I get a warning after that? I don't actually know. What was the penalty for? What was the warning for? If it was in the wrong order, I don't know. But that's bizarre. I've not ever seen that before. Having a penalty and then a warning come up, unless you've actually cut 2 corners in a row. I don't know why it's done that to me. Meanwhile, on board with Spooky, he's got one shot in front of him. Oh my god, why shot was rolled the car and kept the curb. They're side by side. I don't know who came out of that fight because that's as much as that came. But I think Spooky would have gave up that position. Yes, he did. And he let one shot go. So very much sportsmanship going on there between the pair of them. But what the hell happened to one shot? I don't know. Right, Stretch is 3 seconds up the road, and he hits on hards. Up the inside of me goes Blazer Guns. Blazer on those softs, don't forget. Gets position done on me. He does have a lot of penalties though, so I wonder if I can fight Blazer Gun back here through turn 3. Using some rate space for using the overtake. Blazer's clearly not got any overtake. He's in the red spot. It's live, which means he's got no ERS to use. Out to that corner, out of turn 5. Not close enough to retaliate for Blazer Gun, and that means he's probably going to pull away. Now looking at Spooky, he's P3 at the moment. He's got one shot, who's pulled out a 1.9 second advantage. I think one shot's just got a huge amount of pace on the videos compared to the rest of us. Oh my god, Spooky's almost rolled the car now. Now they switch places, and wow, Blazer Gun gets past Spooky then. I just see the top left the corner there. There goes Mr. Spooky, losing out of position because he clipped that curb too much. And I've got over the curb now, and I'm getting another warning. Track limits again, not being my friend at all. I've got 3-second penalty. Was that 6 now? 6 seconds. No, that could be race over for me. I need to get past Stretch ASAP then. Spooky has retired for the session and left the session because he crashed out earlier. I forgot to include that. Up the inside of Stretch is his right-hander. Turn 1, side by side on turn 2. Championship contenders right here fighting. Through turn 3, the left-hander Stretch still got the inside line at this point. He is on the hard, so he's on the dying compound. I need to get past Stretch then into turn 5. Not quite enough gap here. Over the curb we go. Right, I'm going to need a mistake for you, Stretch, through this pit if I'm going to get past you now. I need to get past you as soon as possible because you've got no penalties and I've got 6 seconds. So Stretch could just afford to hold me up here. Lose some laps so that I lose some laps on him to try and gain out a 6-second advantage. If I can make a 6-second advantage in a couple of laps, I don't know. But this is costing me time. Big stop behind Stretch. Do the fast left. Just a couple more corners to go in this. Got a DRS satisfaction point right now. We get a good exit. Yes, we do. On the AstroTurf and the curb slightly. Oh, using the overtake button in the wrist mix. I need to get past Stretch right now, or this could be race over for me trying to beat Stretch. Using the slipstream to my perfection. Side by side, it's his right-hander. We later then Stretch on the brakes to get the move done. And we're into P4 now. Next up is Blazer Gun, but he's way too far in the future. But he has got penalties. I wonder how many more penalties Blazer Gun's going to get. And if I didn't have any penalties, I could be on the podium right now. Just going to let that stay king. That penalties really cost me this race today. And that's a shame. But, moving on. It's still lap 23. Around the last corner is Stretch close enough to try and get the DRS. Trying to get me back. He's made a mistake inside the last corner though, hasn't he? He's missed the apex. That could be it for Stretch trying to get me in this Grand Prix. And it is. So, Stretch needs to hope he can stay with me long enough so I don't pull out the 6 seconds gap to keep the position. There you go. There's a side-by-side through turn 1. A little bit of contact. A little bit of racing is rubbing. And then it's turn 3, still side-by-side. What a great battle this was. Between the championship contenders, by the way, for this Grand Prix. And we'll show you the championship after, well, championship status after this race. Now, moving on to lap 24. Going to lap 25. We're green on my lap times. We are pushing so hard. We're doing consistent lap times to the very best. We've done a 35-1 that lap. Is this going to be good enough to beat Stretch? Well, I've already gained 1.3 seconds. If I can keep this up, this is now 2.4 seconds on lap 25. I don't think I can have enough time in this Grand Prix to do it. I'm using up so much DRS though. So much rich mix is being used in this race. But we're going to stay with me now for the next 2 laps to see if I can pull the gap or not. So you're going to see how much on the limit I am, how much DRS I'm using, where I'm using the DRS, where I'm not using the DRS. This is where it's been crucial now in this Grand Prix. Through turn 1, through turn 2. I can't afford to use up any track limits, by the way. Using more overtake usage there as well. Also, you notice that Quakers could actually overtake Stretch in this Grand Prix. I really hope those two battle. And if they do battle, that's going to hopefully extend me a gap. As you can see, back into the overtake button. We're not saving any ERS at this point. We're just going out of every single corner. Overtake being used because it's so crucial for me to get this gap together. We've got green on my first sector, so we are still improving every single time I go through these sector splits. Now it's just left-hander, clip the apex, clip the right-hand side. Onto the curb, you can see how much risk in the car. Now, it's this right-hander. You could say this looks like a pretty good lap. We're on the AstroTurf though. It's going to cost me a little bit. We've gained the gap now to 3.4 seconds. 3.5, sorry now. That's not enough. I still need to gain another 2.5 seconds in 1 and a bit laps. Is that possible? I've got to say probably not. I'm only getting a second per lap. I needed some more laps on this Grand Prix. But you can see how much we are sending the car. We're risking everything to beat Stretch in this race. Now, show you this left-hander. Going into the right one. Got to keep the rear stable as well because the tyres are dying off at this stage as well. 2 corners to go in this lap. Got to hit these apexes. I've got to hit every apex from now on to have any chance of beating Stretch in this race for the championship. Quaker gets past Stretch. But Stretch is now should be able to stay with Quakers with its DRS, which is only going to make life harder for me to beat Stretch in this race. Using the overtake on this start and finish straight without out to overtake completely. That's not good at all, heading towards turn 1. I wish I had more overtake to play with, but we don't. We've used it all up on the previous lap. But nonetheless, we're still going to use exactly how much we can. Wherever we can be an overtake. I don't know how much stretch has gone at this point, but it's still 3.8 seconds mark now. Gained 3 tenths in one sector. It's his right-hander. I need to start hitting more apex and start risking the car more. Using some trail limits. Exactly like that. You cannot push this car any more than what I'm doing right now. And I just don't seem to have the much more pace and stretch does on those hards. I was really hoping those hards would have died away more than they have. Missed the apex there. That's cost me a warning. Oh dear, I need to be careful about these warnings I'm getting through this left-hander then. Clip the apex perfectly there. 3.2 seconds to Quakers, but it's 4.1 seconds to stretch. I need to gain 2 seconds in just 10 corners. That's like, I don't know, 4 tenths in every corner. That's not exactly the most possible thing in the world when a stretch is actually quite good at driving. Meanwhile though, Blazer Guts is still got a lot of penalties. 1 shot to P3 at this point in one of his debut races, I think, actually, for 1 shots. Now, just a couple corners to go this race. Is this going to be enough to beat Stretch? I don't think it is. I think Stretch is going to get me on penalties, which means he will extend his championship leads. At the minute, I think the gap system's like 13 points between the pair of us. He gets bottom corner. Checkered flag is out. Is this enough for me to beat Stretch? I'm not sure. He's sending it out to the final corner. We've lost the car. We're into the wall. Lost our full front wing as well. But we've sent it, and it's not worked out. Stretch beat me on penalties and will extend his championship lead to 15 points. But we'll come on to that in a bit. Swift then P1 in this race from 1 shot from Quakers. Blazer gets P4, Stretch P5, extends his championship lead against me in P6. Crazy Fish P7, Quirky P8, Shade P9, and Millsy gets the final points. Even after the race Millsy's had. So Millsy's done a good job there. Fair play to Millsy. But there you guys have it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Here's the championship order as usual. And I hope to see you again next time. Goodbye.